Like, you got this. Any iterations? I think we're on version 7.2.
It's always a work in progress. Okay. Yeah, check if it's done. It might be done. Do you have a title for your coffee talk today, or do you want me to just leave it blank?
Lies about sales.
Morning.
There's like 4 accidents on the way here.
Awesome.
Take some of that from you.
He picked me up about 8 blocks from here. So
And then you got as well.
Yeah, I didn't see any accidents, but that's when the roads were built.
I do, yeah. I usually do. Yeah. Today I was like,
Oh, 10-degree walk.
I was like a balaclava or something,
Yeah.
maybe, but I was like, it's when it's that cold, like just the nose, your eyes freeze, and you're like, this is unpleasant.
Yeah, why are the whites of my eyeballs frozen?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything else I need to be done right now?
You're on the Slack, right?
What was that?
Are you on the Slack?
I need to get on my phone, but I have Slack.
Take some time and do it.
I'm on the 1MC org Slack. Is there a new one just for this?
No, if you're
Is that anyone that's in like the community one?
so if you're in Colorado Startup is the workspace.
Oh, no, I've got the.
Okay.
1MC org.
So
I don't know if I got the Colorado stuff.
okay, add workspace.
Yeah,
You should have gotten an invite from me, but
I just double checked. We can just send it out.
okay. Is it in that email I just sent?
Startups on Slack? Zach.
No, Colorado. So the email I just sent.
Yeah.
There should be a link in it. Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
See if that works.
He probably invited you for whatever email. So.
So in the last email I just sent to the org team, there's a link in it.
I need to sign the Wi-Fi. Okay. But so just that link work? I gotta.
Yeah.
sign the Wi-Fi here.
The email I sent last night about Slack, and then I said if you haven't joined, select here.
Yeah. So the thing is, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
And you should be able to, in Slack, add a workspace. If you're seeing if you're already part of the Colorado Startup Workspace, you should be able to go into Slack and add a workspace and just check it off.
So it says that I'm already, when I entered into that, the email enter here, it said I'm already a invited member.
Okay, so go to,
Already invited.
okay, so go to, click that, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so either that or use your, whatever you want to sign in.
I usually just take a Google one.
Okay,
Yes.
Cool. Okay, I'll do this.
Is it here?
Want him to be the official mascot?
Yeah.
Anytime I walk here, I always forget.
The 1 million tests.
Do you use a password vault?
yeah, I use LastPass.
I've been interested in how few people don't how few people use them anymore. Like it's crazy.
I feel like it's getting more traction.
Yeah, they're so it's invaluable. I could not have my life without them. Like that's.
You're just asking for problems and stress.
Yeah, absolutely.
By not having a password manager. Our lives are so connected to all these different softwares that require different logins and passwords, and
Yes. Yeah.
best practice is not to have the same password for every
Right.
login. So
And to have one that's like 20 random characters, I'm like, that's,
Yeah.
why would I not want that?
so it's an extra step of the process, but it's worth it.
Okay.
Okay, so
I don't have an account on this workspace.
Try.
I
Do you have
don't
a
know.
Slack?
to sign in, I think I always use Google to sign in. I have a Slack account. Right?
Try just using your email and then
I
see,
don't know, like, I don't have a password. I always just use the.
Well, try get help signing in and then do that, and they'll send you a link
Okay.
to your email.
Okay.
So hit continue. So check your email.
Sent.
What are you getting?
So I'm getting this.
Mr. IT.
I got it. Okay, so go.
Because I'm in this one.
Yeah.
but I don't think that's the right
No,
one.
that's not the right one. So you're not part of Colorado. So go back to your email. That email I just sent out yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm getting this. It looks like there is an account on Carlisle, so I've typed this email address.
So weird, but it says you were.
Yeah, but on the sign up through the link that you sent, it says I am.
Have you?
It's maybe it's through my other. It wouldn't be through my work email.
Cause I got you right here,
This is
Kiefer.
great, I know. Yeah, Johnson Kiefer D. Yeah,
Your Gmail.
yeah. At Gmail. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
What I could do, I don't really have ability to. You could create a new account with like your email plus Slack on it. You ever do
Like
that?
a new email account?
No, it's not a new email
Oh,
account.
okay. I was like, I don't want to make a new.
Do you ever
email for
like
this.
do a custom email? So it's your
Yes.
regular plus
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's like, okay. I mean, it
So
sounds
try-
like there's just an issue with the system. Is there like, can you re-invite me to this Slack channel? Because that seems like.
We already have an account.
I don't.
Is this a common issue in Slack?
This is like we're now the second and third people this morning that have had this issue. So.
That's common.
Try add workspace just from your Slack account, like from the Slack app.
Yep.
Colorado Dash startups.
Oh, like manually enter the
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
I can try that.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
You say add a workspace.
Yep. Add workspace and then the.
Colorado.
Oh, there, join.
Oh.
Okay, that worked. Okay,
I'm gonna do the same thing.
good job. All right.
Yeah, no,
Put the other-
tall glass of water in hand. What was it? Colorado? Startups.
And I need to set a new password now. This is so confusing.
No, this is you're creating a brand new one. Okay, so we don't want that. So join another. Yeah,
workspace.
there. Join
Oh, nice.
there.
Holla.
Okay.
Wait, but already, okay.
No. Well, this is a password for this.
Oh.
Workspace.
I see, okay.
Each workspace has its own password.
Weird. All right.
Doesn't make sense.
We do tech.
Okay.
We do tech. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you're already invited, the lesson learned is to join another workspace.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Skip.
I'm in.
Take me to Slack.
And the
Okay.
1MC organizers, nice.
Yes, you're there.
Do you mind adding me to that channel, please?
You're in it. So go. Okay, you are technically in it, but
Cool.
Join channel.
This is exciting. What are the big channels in?
it says you're in it. Maybe.
It says I'm joining it.
Oh, okay. Maybe you have a different account now.
Oh yeah, my
Okay.
yeah, I
that's fine.
use my other email.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Can you add me to the organizers? Oh yeah, and then the community one. Yeah.
Got it. You're in the community one.
Yeah, and then I need to get into the.
Yeah, you should be on it. Yep, you're in it.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Gang's all here.
You just gotta get a Joe on there.
Forget it. That's Courtney's job.
Get Joe on there.
He's in there.
He's not gonna use it.
Huh?
He's not gonna use it.
Well, then.
We might have one less organizer.
This could be you.
I got my mug somewhere.
They got that song for X. That Lady Gaga song. That's nice. That's exactly how I think this works.
This is the 14 coffee shops. We have like 500 playlists and all over the place. Yeah, you play Denver coffee shops, but it could be
Yeah. That
Portland is like everyone wants to listen to this. Please don't.
Don't be excited.
I'm coming down October.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Oh, Slack.
Yeah.
That's our topic of discussion.
Oh, man. I'm ready to take out Slack on this one.
They were down yesterday. I was excited.
Wait, are we talking about the Slack or are we transitioning?
Well, we have a transition to it. Making sure it's on.
Oh, yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's good.
That seems that. Next topic.
That worked, I think it's a good idea, guys.
Well, we're actually discussing it. She's mobile people are having trouble getting into it.
They should really do that. Like, hey, you are not setting up a new account. You're setting up an account and password for this channel. Yeah, it's hard to set up. Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. It's like,
Well, actually, I think that would be the website.
I mean,
Or we can just have it where everyone is at. They have to take a picture in their face.
yeah.
Thanks for
It's
coming out in
great
the cold.
weather, yeah.
It's a warm day where I grew up. Yeah. Where was that? Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All my Minnesota friends are like coming out real strong. But like, it's Minnesota weather outside.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
High at 20 degrees or more up to 0.
That sounds a lot like uphill both ways in snow talk.
But no, I think Slack in terms of wanting to get some wanting to use that with people that connect, like show up outside of like showing, you know, like let's say for those like they may use it as a
Or at least like instead of having to give out your personal contact information, just follow up an email, you're like, I'm on this Slack.
right.
When you hop on there, you can set up a meeting or something. Or whatever. I don't know how many channels I can handle.
Also, we should have like maybe.
You just got to suggest a channel.
Yeah. Well, okay, here, yeah. I was thinking that, you know, as for people who can't make the like the after hours thing that we kind of talking about, it could be cool for the presentation of the person who presented the device posted on the channel, and then additional feedback.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Get
Yeah.
back in that.
And then also if you have
Yeah.
But no one does that.
I think
It's a whole other
I'm definitely one of the people that says, I've got 2 things to say.
There he is. You need help?
No, I'm fine.
All right, cool.
I'm just curious where I'm gonna set up. I don't know how many
You tell us if you want more room, we can move chairs around.
here. Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look.
Come on.
Chuck.
I love when people get the microphone, like, I got a couple things to say.
Yeah.
Like my brother, he's got a This happens on his church.
That's what like happens.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, round 15 now. Like I every once in a while.
Yeah, big good.
Very short size. So that's what you get like. What is this larger?
It's nice.
It's really appreciate is, have you ever been like here, yeah, like community experience? I just.
No, but I'm saying like,
Okay, that's way better than I heard that. It's been like, hey.
Not so great.
Yeah. First time she was like, where'd you go? And I was like, oh, like, I was like.
Yeah. I always tell myself like,
Those are the chances that you.
the guy who runs that studio, he like, like, you know, says, you know, he like, he's like, the instructor.
Oh, that's true.
So I
Do you what,
just got that 2 months ago. Takes like 10 years.
Somebody would buy you and just lay down on your back.
So then,
It's like waiting for that. It sounds like it's a little bit. Yeah. But it's cool.
No, you're good. No, you're good. You can really take the so we make sure.
Yeah. You always say, but it's strength, so, you just,
Yeah.
yeah, so if you want to go, session start. I think it's like, do a takeout. I was tracking over here. The roads were like just barely.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard, but it is. Yeah, it's super good.
I will say I'm not kidding.
No. Did you box for a while? You guys will pay if I haven't done that, I would just. Yeah. You get hurt even if you should. Yeah. Really?
No. But yeah, that's
Yeah, no, like a committee.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it's like a balance between like your trying to keep value. Yeah, there's that discrepancy. So it's like they're targeting the way that you think about
Morning. Good morning, Lorley. You're on mute. You're still on mute.
Good morning. How are you?
There we are. I'm doing great.
Wonderful.
How's the weather where you're at?
Really cold. Like minus 23. Well,
Oh.
actually, that's Celsius. So that's I'm Canadian. So
Okay. It's like that's really, really cold, but that
right?
you're in Colorado, right?
Yeah, I'm in Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs, gotcha. Have you done the 1 million cups down there yet?
No, I haven't. I just applied to them though, 'cause I was actually in Denver first, and now I just moved to Colorado Springs.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, I totally recommend it. People call it the 1 Million Cups tour, where you join a bunch of 1 Million Cups, or you send your application to them, and then you just go to their event. And a lot of them are still on Zoom, so you can just do a Zoom meeting with them.
That's amazing. I definitely want to, because I need lots of practice. This is will be my first pitch, so I'm sure you guys are going to tear me apart.
No, we're nice. We're here to support. We call it Build a Bear. So we're trying to help support you so you can grow into an awesome
I
flower
love
of
it.
success. Have you done Zoom before, I assume?
Oh yeah, yeah,
All right, I'm going to make you a co-host. Do you just want to practice sharing your screen?
sure. Let me close a couple things here.
You're a Canva user as well. Awesome.
Yes, I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know what I do without it.
It makes it so much easier. Awesome. Cool. Well, we're probably going to start in like 5 minutes or so. I do an intro presentation and then I'll kick it off to you. There's only one presenter today. So ideally it should be around 6 minutes. If you need a little bit longer time, that's fine. But the goal is to have more dialogue. So about 6 minute presentations and then 15 to 20 minutes of audience Q&A.
That sounds great.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna take the screen over and
My
I'm gonna hop.
presentation might even be shorter. I haven't timed myself.
That's fine. No, there's no really time crunch. So don't stress about it. And we'll talk to you in a little bit.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks. Bye.
But yeah, so like these vineyards produce like 50 to 1,000. Wow, nice. That's awesome. You also did a lot of traveling too. Yeah. Was that during your time like in airports?
Check out the line. South America.
So you like on the boat, get off the boat, go hang out for the day, come back, DJ. Was it like every night you were DJing? Yeah, it sounds really tiring.
Yeah. Workdays. The contract is 2 months long. Make money with this great.
Oh, that's nice. So you got 3 month contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it also seems like ship is like one of those where everyone's there for don't stay in like ship life forever. Like also always to travel. Like, yeah, this year I think like I tried to get to like the area and also go to like senior base open invite. Heck yeah, I like that. Yeah. I don't know why I did that.
All right, good morning. We're gonna get started in about a couple minutes. Want coffee? It's over there. Bathrooms are down the hall. We'll get started in a moment. If you guys want to sit in the front row too, don't be shy. Nobody likes me. Laura Lee. Yeah. That's right. Okay, let's do this.
What is it? Body bear. Body bear? I know, that's the name of it. Skinny love. Skinny love? Skinny love. Yes, yeah.
Ready?
I don't know, we're still talking about music.
Okay. Well, while that's happening, my name is Nick Campion. I will be your MC for today. Quick question or statement. In order for Nick's winter puns to be successful, he really has to know his audience. It's really relevant to 1 million cups. You were blown away by that joke? Well, we're here to solve 3 different problems. The first problem is entrepreneurs need feedback on their startups. The second is entrepreneurs need a place to practice presenting. And third, entrepreneurs need a place to meet other entrepreneurs. And we have a solution. It's called 1 Million Cups. We meet here every Wednesday, 9 a.m. at Enterprise Co-working. Free coffee on the table. Please don't take the coffee in the kitchen. We do 6-minute presentations followed by 15 to 20 minutes of constructive audience feedback. Okay. In terms of use cases of what we're looking for in terms of presenters, we're looking for presenters that have an idea, product, or startup that are looking for and will receive feedback. Ideally, they're in the teenage stage. That means that they're not too young where they don't know what their customers are or what the problem they're solving, and not too old where they know what they're doing and they're just here to sell the product. And last thing is they're here to practice presenting as well. It's a great platform for that. Because of 1 Million Cups, we're having some impact. Entrepreneurs get to be open and transparent. Entrepreneurs get feedback to improve their startups, and last, entrepreneurs build meaningful connections. And this is all happening because of our org team. So we got Jonathan, Manan, myself, Josh, Courtney, Joseph, he's on camera, and Jonathan as well, Kiefer, and Philip, and Pete. So let's give them all a round of applause. Yeah, most of the audience, you guys are awesome. For the non-organizers that are here, we're always looking for more organizers. So if you want to add your face to the wall of fame, please let me know. Good morning. Shout out to our sponsors. We have Enterprise Co-working, where we're at right now, and Queen City Coffee, which is the coffee you're drinking. Other sponsors, Pono Media, who's going to be doing the free headshots at the end of the meeting, Rocky Mountain Microfinance Institute, the Comets of Champa, Denver Angels, and Colorado Small Business Development Center. Let's give them a round of applause as well. Now I'd like to get a feel for the audience. Who's new to 1 Million Cups today? Anybody new? Okay, awesome. And who considers themselves an entrepreneur? Everyone, 100%. Now I'd like to know who's in the audience, looking for some volunteers to introduce themselves, name, what you do, why you're here. If not, I'm just gonna call on people. Anybody want to say hello? Go ahead.
Since there aren't too many other than the organizers here today, I guess I'll go in. My name is Kerry Duff. I'm here, actually, I'm presenting next week, but I'm kind of feeling things out a little more. Hadn't gotten to a lot of these meetings during COVID and such. And I just started coming here, just a few months before COVID hit, so I'm kind of getting back on track as far as that goes. But I have a business, it's a fast casual restaurant concept that's kind of new to the marketplace things that I'm trying to push for and looking to practice presenting and trying to find investments. It's called Clean Food Kitchen, and hopefully somebody will be around next week.
Cool. Great segue for coming back next week. All right. Who else would like to do an introduction? Go ahead.
Met a couple times. My name is Scott Edwards. I just launched a CBD protein bar company recently, like last week, so very recently. So I'm here to do a lot of things, starting to do some sales calls this week, stuff like that. I like coming, like good energy, like being around other entrepreneurs. And I don't know if this is like okay, but I'm looking for an accountant. So if anybody has one that they love, I would love to chat with you.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Sharing resources. Anyone else want to do intro?
My name is Philip.
Go ahead.
I own a mortgage company here in town. Take a little different take on building loan options. I just like this place a lot. People seem nice. I come hang out.
We are, but yeah, fine.
We still haven't pulled.
Soon. All right, just to let you guys know, we do have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. This is where I will post any announcements about weather. So if you're concerned about if we're going to cancel or not, the website will state that. If you're interested in presenting, you go to our website, fill out a quick application. You can also follow us and get our weekly email by who's presenting each week. We also are on Slack now via Colorado Startups. So Colorado Startups, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a really big community here in Colorado and Denver. They have a Slack channel. Instead of creating a separate Slack channel, we're just, as Workspace, we're going to just use their Workspace and we have a separate channel on there. So if you go to colorado-startups.slack.com and join our channel, that'd be awesome. Before we get into our presentation for today, I want to let you guys know that they're here for your feedback. So while they're presenting, think of one piece of feedback or question you have, because the more dialogue we have, the better this event is. So let's get into our presentation, which is Mindku. It is a technology platform to help employees reduce stress, increase performance, and connect as a team while building healthy mental health habits. We deliver neuroscience micro-practice across Slack, MS Teams, and Zoom. Let's give a big round of applause to Laura Lee.
Hi, thanks everyone. I want to apologize for not being there in person, but yesterday my sister and her husband actually welcomed a pair of twins into the world. So I'm here to kind of support them through that. So, but thanks so much for your time. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
That's great.
Excellent. Okay, so the company is called Mindku, and I'm really passionate and excited about what we're doing. So we're really helping teams to connect more and really just take a moment, take a deep breath. And we're teaching them different strategies and techniques to reduce their stress, connect better as a team, and to shape their culture. And we do that through micro practices. We make it really easy for them and a fun kind of team building exercise. And of course, leveraging technology. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we're leveraging technology and making it easy for them. First, I'm going to start with our key target demographic is HR. So myself, and I'll tell you a little bit more about my background, but a little bit later, but I do have a lot of experience working with HR individuals. So I've done digital consulting for employer branding and worked for managing all the digital for Randstad globally. So it's the second largest employment agency. And so I've had experience with HR individuals. So we're really targeting senior HR individuals as our primary target audience. And so this is Holly. So Holly is really a busy director of HR. She wants to make a difference for the culture of her organization and for each of her coworkers. So her goal is really to unlock the potential of her staff through this mentoring, coaching, and providing effective tools and advice. She also uses Slack or Microsoft Teams to collaborate with her team in other departments. So Holly is working at a company, over 500 employees. Our target, we can work with from small and large companies. Her buying role is she's basically the key decision maker, and she influences other teams for adoption as well. And her goal is really to make a positive impact on her culture, to lead and inspire her team, and to help collaborate across different teams. In terms of the buyer's journey, she's really aware of the need for reduction in stress. So people, especially from COVID and from just everything that's changing in the world environment, has had increased stress. So they're looking ways to reduce burnout and give people the tools to manage their stress better. There's more details here, like where she focuses on. She spends a lot of time on LinkedIn and Instagram. So we're really targeting our marketing around that. She has a lot of needs in terms of productivity tools. So they're already using either Slack or Microsoft Teams. She wants to make things easy. So anything she brings in just integrates easily into what they're already doing. Oops. Okay, moving forward. So the key thing is today, I mean, employees are dealing with the most disruption and stress in years. So there's a huge impact on that in terms of business profits. And not only that, but employees being surveyed, 80% of workers are feeling stress on the job more than ever before. And nearly half of them said they need help in learning how to manage stress. So they realize that they need help. And our mission is, as MindCoo, is to help businesses shape a culture focused on improved mental health, reducing stress, deepening team connection, and of course, improving performance. So we're going to do that through cultivating vibrant, healthy teams through micro practices and team coaching. And it's both in-person and remote. So whether they're in the office or they're distributed around the world, you can still connect as a team. A quick note on the name MindCoo as well. So of course we all know the word mind, but ku, actually Ku in Hawaiian actually means stillness. So the name actually means stillness of the mind. So we're a company that's starting to pitch in both Canada and the US. So we would change the slides a little bit differently based on if that company is based in the US or Canada. But a couple of stats here. So 2 out of 3 Canadians believe their organization does not sufficiently support the mental health of employees. And that's from the Mental Health Index, and that's a recent stat. The other interesting thing is that C-level and executive respondents are now more likely than others, so than their team members, to report at least one mental health symptom. So it's becoming a lot more normalized to talk about mental health and to ask for help. So there's up to an 85% decrease in absenteeism for employers who are implementing actually meditation programs for their employees. So we are focused a lot on meditation, breath work, and basically creating these micro practices and experiences to help guide people in how to reduce their stress and enhance their performance. And then of course, 4 and 5 employees right now feel emotionally drained from their work, which is really an early sign of burnout, which is detrimental to business profits and of course to the actual individuals at the company. A little bit about the team. So myself, I've been in marketing and sales for over 15 years, specializing in digital. So digital marketing is really my area of expertise, as well as branding. I've also been a serial entrepreneur. So I came from the corporate world, worked there for a long time. I had a very toxic experience, and I realized, and what helped me actually was a meditation coach. So I realized the impact of being able to more connected and more grounded. And then having that as a part of your culture, as the new normal, can really help shift an entire culture. So I'm also co-founder of Post Beyond. We just recently sold that company, and that was a social media enterprise tech company. I've worked on building companies and helping sell to the enterprise markets, whether it's Starbucks, Molson Canadian, PGA, also managed around SaaS digital team. And then my other co-founder, Paul, is actually a fintech executive and startup entrepreneur, and he specializes in product development, product management. So he's been 13 years in finance technology, building lending systems from managing 135 billion, 145 patents, and most recently an entrepreneur for starting up Buns, which is a crypto marketplace where he helped raise 50 million in funding and built 500,000 users. The other part of our team, so Catherine Boudreau is amazing. She's actually been a meditation teacher, guide, and yoga teacher for the past 20 years and studied in India, is amazing what she does, and happens to have this also amazing complementary skill set of copywriting. So she is fantastic she's our head of programs at helping to develop those scripts and basing everything, of course, on neuroscience and the latest studies and research. And she develops the scripts, and then what we do is we produce and record, incorporate video, and make it very kind of fun and engaging. And of course, breathwork as well. We also have Miriam, who has also been a meditation teacher and a holistic practitioner. And she has had many experience developing mindfulness programs and has written meditations also for the Calm app. I forgot to mention Catherine Boudreau also has developed meditation programs for like the government of Canada and many other large corporations. Pete Craig is an entrepreneur and co-founder of multiple companies, and he focuses on coaching CEOs and how to incorporate mindfulness and meditation into their practices and to their leadership. And he also works as a certified heart math practitioner and breathwork practitioner now. So the actual app, it's designed so it fits right into your workspace. So right now what we have is we have an MVP. So we have an MVP for our Slack application. So we have a fully functional Slack application we bootstrapped. And it essentially works as a chat bot, an intelligent chat bot that delivers all of the content and integrates it into your day, makes it really easy to schedule the meditation practices as a team. So we call it MindQ Connect. It integrates with your company's online workspace. Your team leaders set up a new channel, and it's easy for them to invite people, and it's all tied into our backend analytics so that we can stream on demand and live sessions as a team. The other key thing is it also collects feedback, has real-time surveys to help really drive that company culture. So we really incorporate that element of employee engagement and that pulse, and how is your team doing right now? How are they feeling? What can you do to kind of help? So this is just a high-level roadmap. So we have the MVP, it's working on Slack. Next, we're making it look prettier. So we're doing more of that branding layer and then integrating the payment, automatic payment system. And then we're duplicating that basically on Microsoft Teams. One of the key things is that it is based on neuroscience, the program. There's three different types of micro practices that affect actually different parts of your brain. So we're focused on the presence. So this is really focused on the prefrontal cortex and really helping you to develop that and create those better attention skills, allowing you to focus and concentrate better. Then we have perception, which is linked to really the ability for us to engage and empathize with other people, like team members. A very valuable skill set, of course, in the work environment. And then perspective. So this is one of the, I wouldn't say the hardest, but this comes after some more practice, but this is really where it's helping you with impulse control and emotional regulation. So we're really also building in that emotional intelligence aspect and tying that into mindfulness and actual practices that will help you adopt another person's perspective and work better as a team. With the actual program, so it's based on seasons. So we have 4 seasons, which is also can be tied to quarters. But we have the first season is all about reducing your stress. So it's stress reduction and wellness. And what we're really doing is helping you connect with your breath and your body, increasing your awareness and your mental health, and helping you align with what matters. So we're giving you really neat, even quick little practical techniques. For example, is the physiological breath, which is just like it takes you a few seconds to do, and right away it reduces it calms your autonomic nervous system. So some really neat techniques to really reduce stress, because before you can build on kind of productivity and resilience and leadership, you really want to first put yourself into a state where you are calm and you can be open to developing yourself personally. And then we move into the second season of productivity. So it's really about improving that focus. It's about goal setting, your vision, and motivations, intrinsic motivation within individuals and within the team. Then we move on to resilience and adaptability, really developing that empathy, self-regulation, really focused a lot on kind of emotions and even conflict management skills and communication. And then leadership, now we're really evolving your skill set to use your time, energy to influence your team. And we're also focused a lot on your purpose, presence, and of course, as a leader, and of course, everyone's a leader at the end of the day, no matter what position you have in the team, we're really also incorporating that element of vulnerability. We have different streams throughout this program tied into a lot of the science around gratitude and compassion. So we're constantly building we have those built into the program as well. In terms of the actual micro practices, so we want to make it really easy. So every season we have that first hour kind of almost like a kickoff where it's a little more education, engaging in a couple of different mini practices. And then after that, it's basically 15 minutes twice a week, every week. So, and then of course, in addition to that, we're also providing an on-demand library. So those individuals that want to go a little bit deeper into their own practice, we're giving them that ability too. And we even have elements like, for example, for sleep and a little bit longer meditations if they want to really develop that practice. So, and the habit. And of course, good mental health, that means higher productivity, lower absenteeism, a higher overall job satisfaction, a better culture of support and community in the workplace, improving employee wellness overall. And then another key thing is really that those healthy remote working habits, that's a huge element nowadays, and lowering stress across the team. So we've run some successful micro practices with these companies to date. So we have, there's a company called Decium, the Abnormal Beauty Company. Their international RBC is one of the larger banks in Canada, and they actually have 85,000 employees. So we're building it so that you can run it as a team. And often what people want to do is do a pilot first and then roll it out to their team. Spin Master, they have about 2,000 employees. And actually Sobeys is a really interesting opportunity that we're speaking with them. And we've run a micro practice for 100 members of their leadership team, which went really well. And they actually have over 120,000 employees. One of the things what we're doing right now is we're in the seasonal practice right now. So we're going through testing all of the content and getting continuous feedback with one of our partners is Thorpe Benefits. So what's interesting about them is they're a small team, but they have, they're a benefits consulting company. So they do have over 200 clients that they can recommend MindQ to. So we're looking at different ways to get creative and partnerships, also looking at potential, like for example, the insurance industry to align with them as really distribution partners. So in terms of the pricing, what we have is, so it's a seasonal retreat. So we have the 1 hour and then it's that 15 minutes every week. But of course, we are also providing little pieces of mindful challenges and little pieces of content pushed through either Slack or through Microsoft Teams. And also with the engaging element and the surveys to really get a pulse on the team. We have opportunities for upgrades. So we have enhanced analytics, and then we have on-demand library. So for example, like the restful sleep program, vital breath program, those all can be upgrades. And then what we're looking at is a minimum of $500 per month. It's really software as a service, so B2B. It's a 3-month commitment, so that would be $1,500 per quarter for up to 10 employees. And then after that, we're looking at $12 per month for additional employees. So with the pricing, of course, that there's going to be a lot of I think testing and as we go, but this is what we're looking at starting with. So I'd love to hear your feedback too on that after. Now the scary part, the ask is $500K on a $5 million USD valuation. We've done a budget for 12 and kind of 18 months. For the 12 months, it's looking at about 500,000 approximately. About 30% is that to continue to build that software development design. 35% is really focused on the content development. So we already have season 1 almost finished. So, but continuing all the video production, the sound engineering, all of that. And then the 15% on business development, 10% on marketing, /sales, and then 10% of operation and legal. A little more details, just go through. And yes, and I would love to hear some feedback.
Let's start off by giving Morley a round of applause. That was a lot of information, so thank you for sharing all that. Laura-Lee, to start off, what are your asks for us as an audience? Like, what do you want feedback on? Is there any, I know you said anything, but could you give us more direction on maybe what you want exact feedback on?
Absolutely. I think one of the first things I'd love to hear is just your thoughts on the product and maybe how it could be better explained, or what was your, like, how did you, what do you think of the concept and how it was explained? And then I think that for me, that's one of the most important things. Maybe we'll start with that.
Okay, cool. All right. Who has feedback or question? Pete, we're going to use the mic from the camera.
Do I need to come up there?
Yeah.
All right, love this. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. Hi, Laura. Hi, Laura-Lee. My name's Pete. One of the things that stuck out to me in your presentation is there's a ton of content, but like it's kind of a roller coaster of detail in terms of like, I didn't know what your product was until towards the end, but then there's this really deep dive into the founding team, which I think like speaking to the founding team is important, but I would encourage you to think about how can this be more of like a story and like the arc of, okay, here's the problem we're solving, here's how it's solved, and here's who's doing it. So, yeah.
I completely agree with that. Even as I was saying this, I was like, oh, I'm like talking about through things, but they don't really know what their product is yet. So I feel like starting out with their product would be better. Thank you.
And Laura-Lee, this was your first time presenting, correct?
Yes.
So awesome job, just to let you know.
Thank you.
Kiefer, go ahead.
All right. Hey, Laura-Lee, I thought that the product was explained really well. I think I have a really great understanding of what it is and what you're offering. Based on the last couple slides, this being kind of an investment ask, my feedback is toward that. I would really love to have seen things like a competitive landscape. I love seeing that you had the budget, but then also maybe giving a growth expectation, how you expect the business to grow over time. to show those investors what their money is going to bring in, and what that timeline looks like on their investment. I think that investors really want to see that kind of thing. And it felt like a mix between that sales and investment presentation. So I would really cut it into and focus on, is this for investment? If so, take out 90% of the explanation of the product, give that base explanation of the product and focus way more on how this is going to make investors money, because that's really what they want to know. Awesome.
Cool. Great
I
feedback.
love that. I think that's a great point. I can definitely do it kind of two different presentations, like the sales and the investment presentation, and kind of split those a little bit better. Thank you.
Definitely. Why not?
Hey, Laura Lee. So first of all, I love the concept of what you're building. I think it's so true that a lot of people are really struggling with their stress and their mental health, especially in the workplace. I would say that for the presentation, try to focus on one thing per slide. So when people are, reading a slide or looking at a slide, they should come away with like one key factor. So, if that's on your team slide, then that might mean like, here's 3 bullet points per person as to why we're the great team. If this is the problem side, that's what's the biggest problem and why are we solving it? So that'll really give people the ability to focus on you versus the content that's on your slide itself.
Awesome. Great feedback. Courtney? I'll get to Zoom in a second.
We don't forget about me.
We see you.
So yes, I thought that your presentation was great. I love the design overall. There were a lot of words. So I would say if you just like have a point to make that's like pricing, and then you could talk about pricing, but just the words are only the general topic of what you're discussing. And that's mostly just design feedback. The other thing is, just as I've worked a lot in the HR space and consulting, and realizing that we also have to address the problem of people being stressed and why are they stressed, instead of just fixing the stress with new practices. Maybe also an aspect of that, if you go and work with the company on how to not stress out your employees. I feel like that would be a good thing. It's like, we'll teach the managers how to not add so much and work with prioritization and something like that. And then, with the inevitable workload, we will help people handle it. But I think that it may be a little bit far down the line to only help people cope instead of getting back to the source of why they're stressed in the first place.
I love that comment. Some of the other things we were thinking of providing too is like a guide or like a little program, like how to create more mindful meetings and check in with your employees. So thank you for that.
Awesome. All right, Joseph, what's your feedback or question?
So Laura Lee, I think you were filling in this week. So great job pulling it together. And I love that you gave us an avatar and that you addressed the team. Teams are very important when you're going for that investment. In general, on an investor pitch, usually the main slide is just labeled investor pitch. It just lets everybody know this is why you're here. The problem, the solution are more of a hype, because you're not really diving into that. You're assuming that this has all been vetted out, because then you're going to go into slides that show traction, comparisons, and validation. The team, you briefly touch on it because this is just more validation. This says, we are the team to trust with your money. And that's all a team slide does on an investor pitch. And really, on an investor pitch, you're spending your time on saying, hey, this is why you need to give us your money. We've tested these things. We've got this kind of traction. This is the kind of money that we've made. And here's where we're looking to grow. And on an investor pitch, that's where you spend your time. It's not on the problem, the solution. That's almost a 30-second elevator pitch. You go right into the give me your money. So just in general, for everybody, investor pitches typically take that flow when it's an investor pitch. Product pitches and sales pitches tend to focus on the product itself and how it functions. So, but you did an amazing job of touching on several of the different things, and great job presenting today.
Thank you so much. I definitely have more of the sales and marketing background, so I need to focus more on investment. Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. Feedback?
I had some feedback that I'd like to.
Go ahead,
So
Connor.
I was a little confused. So like what is the engagement level of users, over a series of time, right? I mean, kind of the initial, usually, you start, you introduce a new thing and of course everyone's really excited, right? But like, do people continue with that excitement or does it sort of like trail off? Do you have any sort of metrics related to that? Obviously, if this is, more of a like an investor pitch, you would talk about kind of more of those details, right? And or if there was a sales pitch, you would talk about more of the features of the product, right? And then additionally, I don't know if it was, maybe I missed this in the slide, but how long has your company been established for? Have you been around for a while? Is this like a new thing that has just started up in the last 6 months? That sort of stuff.
That's great. So we haven't actually launched officially. We're looking to launch at Collision Conference in Toronto. Oh, actually, I'm going to be down at South by Southwest. That's why this is really helpful and good timing too, to kind of refine the pitch and talk to investors and things. But we're going to officially launch. We're going to have both the Microsoft Teams and the Slack ready by May. So we haven't officially launched, but it's a really good question about kind of retention elements too, because one of the things that people are finding is there are companies that are they're just giving, like, for example, I know Microsoft just gives people, I think it's the Com app, a subscription if they want it, but by not doing it as a team, by not launching it properly or incorporating into the team practices, it's only like a 0.5% uptake rate, which is very abysmal. So the fact that we're doing this as a team product, it's really a lot higher kind of retention, and but we don't have those numbers yet. So I'm not sure if there's any suggestions too on how what we could use and substitute that in advance. I'm not sure.
I mean, I guess the other thing I was going to say too is like when it gets introduced to the to a new company or to new employees, do you do like a rollout to do you have like programming set up to like roll it out more so than just, hey, this is a new product, we've decided to spend our money and have this for or is there sort of like a series of kind of like lessons or emails or something that gets put out to, let's say, a new company to introduce it to the employee, but also like kind of get them involved, right? I mean, they got to kind of like know or kind of understand or kind of be excited about the product, right? Get interested, get curious, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're developing like a series of kind of onboarding emails, and depending on the size of the company, if they're larger, we'll actually even do like a live session to kind of onboard them on. But yeah, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We do find usually it's like top down, so we love it if as part of our marketing strategy is to reach out to people, senior executives who are doing some kind of form of meditation or practice, so that we can get their buy-in, because if there's a story from them incorporated in that rollout. So we're giving them kind of emails where there's a room for them to put their own experience or why they think it's important. Because we do find top-down buy-in is important. But we're also doing bottom-up. So people can actually, in Slack, for example, they can do a free meditation, be like, hey, recommend this to your HR team, and just send it to their HR team as well.
Thank you, Connor. Great feedback. Somebody else in the audience? Courtney? Round two?
Yeah, round two.
Okay.
I was gonna say on just the general setup of everything, going back to one of the principles that you only have 7 seconds to convince people that you're awesome. So that may help to focus in the order of how you go for the presentation. I know you'll be moving slides around and everything, but if you can I know mindfulness is an important word and a big word, but if it's one of many words you have to say for people to understand what you do, you'll probably lose them. So just try to condense what you have and like make people want to open their wallet in 7 seconds, then the rest will be fine.
Hi. First of all, beautifully designed, really elegant presentation. I guess the one question I have is, you mentioned calm, and it stuck out to me that I don't see what it looks like. I don't see the product itself at any point. I remember the calm, didn't the calm app have those spots on TV with the 10-second circle kind of with the rain noise behind it or something? And I wanted to see something like that. I wanted to see what it felt like at your desk. I mean, I don't know what you have. You haven't wrote down anything out yet. What makes sense, but that's what I thought during the process. I kind of waited for.
I love that feedback too, because we have a series of these really beautiful videos with nature scenes, and then with, of course, the practices and meditations, and then we even do have like something where the logo breathes in and out with you, and so we can definitely, maybe we can do like a 10-second little video as a part of the presentation. I like that.
All right, great feedback.
Just a point on collecting the feedback around, usage and retention. I was just thinking just right now, and a really easy way to do this for people in the Slack channel is just after you guys have posted the meditation, you said it was twice a week for 15 minutes. Just have like a small feedback right after saying, hey, how did you feel after this meditation? And it could be on a scale of 1 to 10. And then there can also be an option that says, I didn't do this meditation. So that way you can get feedback both on if people are doing it, as well as what was the outcome of that meditation session itself.
Excellent. I didn't actually didn't go into that, but we definitely have that, because we even want to do a little bit like, how are you feeling right now? Quick, even emojis, and they can pick, and then how do you feel after? And then our goal is to collect, to say the feedback, what percentage of people felt better after this.
All right. Philip.
Yeah, I'm a user interface designer as well, so like this feedback's kind of hard for me to like verbally give to you. It might be better to send an email, but like you have a lot of opportunity to improve the white space in your design and like hold your listeners' attention as you flow through these slides. So like the hierarchy of your font, like it looks like you're using Lado, and like towards the bottom, it looks like you're using like an italicized like Railway. Like it looks like you're using 3 fonts. I would just narrow it down to 2. And it looks like you're using thin, like I would just make it regular. And then just like when I say white space, like an actual thing you could take is if you make these slides in something like XD, it's free. Just run with the rule of 8. Like, for example, like there was a long like bar at the bottom, it was jammed right up against the text. But you can use your design as a way to hold their attention as you flow through. So like on one slide, it's left aligned up here, and on the very next slide, there's a box down here, and the hierarchy is like snapping their attention away from actually following you through this. So you can like mesmerize them with your design. Same for like with the consistency and like your border radiuses at the beginning of it. It was really like rounded corners and like smooth, and like halfway through everything was like strong borders with sharp corners. Like I would just kind of make everything flow a little more and try to like hold their attention. But the biggest opportunity is the white space. And you can just run with the rule like of 8s, like 8 pixels, and the next one make it like 16 pixels, and from there. I could send you an email, but
That would be amazing. Thank you so much. This is great.
What's the rule of thumb for font size? It's like 30 fonts for a presentation?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the screen size. It depends on the screen size.
That was my feedback, is there was a lot of text. And I think the rule of thumb is like around 30 should be like the minimum size. So if you're going less than 30 and trying to jam a lot of words, it's going to be too much information for us to soak in. So I would challenge you to stick to 30 or more and just talk about the slide versus trying to put all this information about it. Especially it was like for the founding team, there was so much text and
Too much, yeah.
and all that. So it's fine to have like their faces and like maybe some job titles, and then you can talk about them quickly, but expecting me to read and listen is not going to happen. So pick one. Do you have a quick question?
Yeah, just from what you said,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm curious, would it be interesting to have a presentation deck, and then you can send like all those kind of notes, all that kind of like extra info in the same deck, but in a email form, if that makes sense?
Yeah, like the backup slide.
Yeah.
At the end of
Like what Lorelai was like presenting, that she wanted to come across, and if you're somebody who like, okay, I'm
absorbing that stuff
Yeah.
in a more simple, like streamlined manner, but I do want to like know that background information so that I can get that sort of secondary deck sent to me. I don't know if that's.
Definitely, you can have exercise your deck, and the whole point is to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
So if your initial deck starts that conversation, you can always
Yeah.
follow up with that information. So cool. Final question: what as a community can we do for you, Laura Lee?
Well, this feedback has been very helpful. I really appreciate that. I guess one of the big things is if, well, I'm kind of in two stages right now. I'm looking for clients to start that conversation with, and then also investors.
All right, let's give Laura Lee a round of applause. Great job, first time presenting. Just got to keep on doing it and you'll get better at it. And we would love to have you come back in like 6 months or so and show us an update too.
I would love that. Thank you guys.
Since we only have one presenter today, we're going to have a coffee talk by Courtney. Courtney's going to talk about lies about sales. What?
I thought all salesmen were liars, so.
Who's a salesman here? Apparently I'm a liar.
I feel like if you're gonna be in the startup world, you have to be good at sales. So that's one truth that I will start with, is if you can't sell, good luck. Another thing to keep in mind is that sales is everywhere. Like the thing that I sold most recently was the idea of tacos to my wife last night. So you got to keep with this idea that sales is not this big scary thing that you do at the end just to like do that final exchange of money. Sales is a whole process, and the more you think of yourself as doing it every day, the easier it will become. Because in the presentation, she's like, here's the scary part, here's the ask. You don't want to build it up that much because you don't want to be scared. This shouldn't be scary. Sales is about providing for other people. It's making that connection. So one of the biggest lies that I wanted to debunk, because we don't have a ton of time, and then if you guys have extras, you can throw them at me, is the idea that sales is about like bringing people happiness. It's like they're supposed to be euphoric about this vacuum that you just brought to their front door, or this car that they get to drive off the lot with. And there's an aspect of that for sure, but there's also buyer's remorse and everything else that could come with that whole like ramp up of emotions. So I want to just reframe that into sales is about relieving pain. So sales is all about understanding the pain that someone is in and then having the tools to relieve that pain. Now, whether or not once the pain is relieved, they go back to that pain or they actually grow and change is kind of up to them, and you can provide additional resources that side of the sale. But the sales process is all about pain. So when people start to understand this, they think about, okay, so where are people in pain, right? So this is also a little bit of a lie here, is that you should go where people are in pain. So we have one team that comes off, and they're not here today, or I'd use them as an example, but I'm doing it anyways, that sell water bottles, right? The worst place for them to go and sell these water bottles is actually on a mountain when someone's already thirsty, right? Even if they filled it with water and did all of this, someone's prepared for that and their sales would be really low. What you need to do is not go where people are in pain. You want to go where people talk about their pain. So if you have something to sell, you are a doctor. You don't go and just like wander around the nursing home and say, looks like that hurts. No, you have an office where people come and the expectation is that they talk about their pain. So if each of you think of your businesses respectfully and the things that you sell, you probably are going to where people are experiencing that pain, and you want to go where they talk about that pain. Most often this is in communities like 1 Million Cups, this is in Facebook groups, this is in Slack channels, this is in coffee shops when they're meeting with their friends. Think about the pain that you want to address and that you want to help alleviate for people, and then go where they talk about it and join the conversation. That is the easiest way. The $1 million question I get all day, every day is, how do I find clients? How do I find customers? How do I? This is it. Like, this is the gold nugget of how do you find people? You go where they talk about their pain, and then you enter the conversation and offer to alleviate it, offer to help them with that pain. Be the doctor for the pain that they're feeling. Get really comfortable talking about it. So any other rules? I would love to know if you have any golden rules about sales.
You want me to grab the microphone or anything?
No, you see me.
My number one rule of sales is similar to this, is shut the F up and listen. Because like, I think it's easy to come into a room and be like, I have this shiny, awesome thing, let me tell you all about it. But to Courtney's point about pain, if you can figure out what you're solving for them and really empathize with that, then that like allows the person to trust you and be like, yeah, tell me about your shiny, awesome thing. I can fix this problem. I want to hear more.
Yeah, definitely. Listening is one of the first big steps about it, which also goes into whether or not you are selling versus closing, because selling is about listening and closing is about speaking to the thing that you just heard. So it's also important to that to know when to shift gears, because if you just sit there through a whole sales meeting being like, yeah, this sucks. Your life is awful. Tell me more about why it sucks. Man, this is great. I want to hear, ooh, yeah, ouch. You know, like you do have to transition to the other side, and knowing when that tipping point is when you feel like they're done talking. They're like, okay, now we all know what the pain is. Now you come in and you do the opposite. You don't stop talking until they close. Yes, Dave.
Sales is about relationships and establishing relationships. If you do not have a relationship, you do not have the right to sell to people. Once you have the relationship, you need, as a salesperson, you're providing value, solving pain, but you need to identify the need behind the need. So somebody may tell you, they might be a real estate agent, oh, I need to close 24 sides a year, 24 transactions. Then a good question to ask, a great question to ask is, okay, Josephina, what's going to happen once you reach 24 transactions? How's your life going to change? Oh, I'll be able to travel to France. I'll be able to get a yacht, do this, do that. Then you're talking about the need behind the need. That is what motivates people, and you can't get there until you establish the relationship.
Yeah, I like that a lot, but that has to do with motivating your salespeople and understanding like, why are you doing all this sales? Because the truth is, sales is uncomfortable. Like, it's just gonna be for a long time. And once it's comfortable, like, you know, there's not an aspect of it where it is flowers and beauty. So motivating your salespeople, definitely give them a goal to work towards. The other side of what you were talking about definitely feels like the doctor analogy I use, where you want to be like a doctor, and it's inappropriate for a doctor to examine a patient in the middle of a mall. If they have a pain in the middle of a mall, you take them to the doctor's office and then you address that. You can do some minor, like, hey, you might want to try this or do this stretch, and that's fine. And you can do that in your business as well. You didn't come here today to sell. So if somebody asks, like, mentions a pain and you're like, hey, I can help with this, like he did with the UX, like I have UX experience, let's take this into an appropriate container for us to discuss it. So just understand that when you're selling, you need to also put up a container, and we could talk about framing all day long, but yeah, 2 more quick thoughts and then we'll wrap it up.
I think this kind of just like falls into all 3 different points so far. I like to think of the 3 tiers of questions rule, right? Like always ask 3 or 2 follow-up questions from the initial one, because it helps get to that part, to that like the pain behind the pain, the real reason. Like,
Yeah.
what is it about this that sucks?
Yeah.
Why is this so uncomfortable? Or why is this the problem? Compared to just, oh yes, that's a problem, moving on. Then you don't really get to what the true solution is. It's way more superficial.
Absolutely. Yeah, I call that the 5 whys. Like, be like a little kid when you're in a sales conversation. Why? You'll sound like you're annoying yourself, but you will get down to what's deeper and going on. Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up there. And then if you guys have more thoughts, definitely share them with each other afterwards in the networking time. Joseph, I saw you raised your hand online. If you want to type out your thoughts in the chat, we'll put it up on the screen so people can review it. We'll keep building.
Cool. Let's give a round of applause to Courtney. Great topic. We have about 5 more minutes. Any community announcements, events you're going to, hosting, anything you want to share? Go ahead, Kiefer.
Yeah, so this is for Naturally Boulder. They have an event tonight called Retail Ready.
Okay.
I'm pointing this almost directly at Scott, to anybody else. CPG retail world. I think it's like $5, and it's just a speech and a lecture on being retail ready for consumer packaged goods. It's online. You can find it if you search Naturally Boulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or talk to Kiefer.
Yeah, or talk to.
Okay. Cool. Anybody else have an event? I'll get to you in a second. Go ahead.
Tomorrow night, Venture X over there on Broadway and 14. They're doing a happy hour for Denver business. It's like a social event for Denver business owners. It's called Connected, and it's at Venture X tomorrow at 4 p.m. So it's like 4 to 6, 4 to 7.
Cool. All right. Joseph.
I was going to mention VentureX as well. We have the Biz 101 workshops at VentureX, so that'll kind of flow into each other. So tomorrow night, if you can join us there. Tonight, we're also launching 1MC Deconstructed. So it's kind of digging in deeper and unpacking the presentations from 1MC. So they're not associated. This is not a 1MC event. This is just simply, let's get together. If the weather was better, we would be over at Ratio Beer Works, having a beer and digging in deeper. But we're also going to be on Zoom. So if you guys want to join on Zoom or in person, we're going to be unpacking the 1MC presentations 7 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Awesome. And I will share that in the Slack channel too. Kiefer should do that as well. Okay. I do have an announcement. Denver Founders is starting up next week, March 3rd, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Courtney and I are part of the Aura team. It's going to be an awesome event.
Better.
Last week I presented this and didn't do a good job selling it. I didn't work on myself, I guess. But Denver Founders has been around for like 10 plus years and kind of been on pause for the past 6 months. And we're bringing it back to life. Free beer, snacks, and networking at the Commons on Champa next Thursday. So if you want to meet some cool founders, please come and check us out.
Thursday the 3rd.
The 3rd. What did I say?
Thursday the 3rd. I was just helping.
Okay.
you remember.
All right.
I'm helping you sell it.
Appreciate it. 6 to 8, and it's on meetup.com. That's where we're promoting it.
I want to second that. Denver Founders I found it to be a really cool, high energy event, and I have missed it, and I'm excited that it's back.
Yes.
Hell yeah. I've been promoted.
Thank you, Dave.
We just signed up for 200 beers. So obviously we need a lot of people.
Yes. Yes.
We need mouths to drink up. Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously bring all of your besties.
10 barrel.
10 barrel too.
Yeah. They donate some beer.
And sorry, what time is this?
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
Yeah. I'll post in the Slack too. Cool. Just want to let you guys know, word of mouth is one of the ways we grow. So if you're enjoying this event, please share it with your friends and family and colleagues. Our website is where to refer them. That's where you can present and get information on today's presenters. We're also on social media too. Shout out, you guys are all awesome. I know it was cold today, but I figured we should still have an event. So thank you so much for coming out today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And then shout out to Pono Media. We got Brandon back here. He's awesome. He's gonna be doing free headshots today. You wanna say anything about Pono Media and what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. I'm Brandon Keller. I run Pono Media LLC. We're a digital media company. Everything, videography and photography related, everything from headshots, weddings and engagements, portraits, to business marketing, digital media content for your websites, branding. We do it all. So a little bit about kind of how this is going to work today. If anyone is interested in taking us up on the free headshots, obviously we'll do it in front of this white backdrop here. I have a sign-in sheet where you'll put your name and email, and we'll go in order of the sign-up sheet. So if you guys want the free headshots today, feel free to take advantage of it. We've got about half an hour that we're going to be set up here, so make sure you guys come quick, all right?
Cool. Let's give Brandon a round of applause for volunteering. Really appreciate it. So please get a headshot once we wrap up. And I know who you guys have been waiting for. So justice is a dish best served cold.
Why are you mad at me?
I just like it. Your reactions are great. I won't look at you. If it was served warm, it would be just water. All right. So join us next week. We'll be here again March 2nd. And stay and hang out. If you want to co-work for the day, you can. Just go upstairs and check in. But we'll stay down here for another half hour or so, hang out, mingle, get free headshots, get some more coffee. And let's give a round of applause for everybody coming out today.
But I do want to go to that.